Si Optimum Prime! Fucking inang yan, Optimum Prime.
Well, the topic of the day, well, you should know, is, well, not just specifically Optimus. If I want to go in more into depth, we're talking about the Bayverse today, because I always hear a lot of bad things about it, and every once in a while you'll hear some good things about the Bayverse, but for the most part, people really don't like the Bayverse. So today I will be discussing the order in which I think they are from, best to worst, and, just my overall thoughts on the Bayverse. Now, the funny thing about how I arranged these, I didn't necessarily do it on purpose at first, but the first 3 movies is before it got so bad that it was hard to watch. The first 3, I wouldn't say that they're, really good movies. If you put nostalgia aside, I don't think I could... Well, I don't know. They're still... In my opinion, the first 3 are still good. But, now, the bottom 2, there's a reason why they're smaller than the bigger ones at the top. In my opinion, the order from best to worst is in the order they came out. But I can be lenient with Dark of the Moon and Revenge of the Fallen. I think those can switch. Those can go back and forth. It just depends in what mood I'm in. But for the most part, the first one is not arguable. It's the best one. Alright? And it just gets worse after every movie. And the only movie on this list, in my opinion, that I just think is a terrible movie besides my bias of liking Transformers is the last one. That one is just terrible. It's got some good fight scenes in it, but besides that, the movie's terrible. Well, and you know what? I'm just going to show you the best scene in the entire thing.
At the heart of every legend, there is truth. A few brave souls unite to save their worlds. We can be heroes in our own lives. Every one of us, if we only have the courage to try.
You saved Prime.
Our fates were always intertwined, but now our worlds are joined as one. We need to repair our planets, work together, if we wish to survive.
Crazy family, huh? You did good, bro. Real good.
A dangerous secret is buried deep inside the Earth. There is more to this planet than meets the eye. I am Optimus Prime, calling all Autobots. It is time to come home.
See, I don't even care if you don't like Transformers, just in general, but if you don't like Optimus Prime's speech, you are just an NPC. I don't know what's your problem. So it doesn't matter how bad a movie is, his speeches will always hit different. They just always will. It doesn't make up for the terrible movie, but it don't mean I ain't gonna skip the whole movie just to hear that part. But one thing the Bayverse is always good at is the fights. The fight scenes are always amazing. And they don't just have one good fight scene out of all the movies. No, every movie has at least got one amazing... You know what? Every fight scene in there is good. There's not a single fight scene in any Transformers movie that's bad.
I gave you an order.
And the amazing thing about how Michael Bay does his movies, if there's an explosion, if there is any type of car being flung, it's always going to be real. He makes sure that his scene is real as possible by actually making things explode. That's what he's known for. But the one thing that people always get mad at is the fact that Optimus Prime is this stone cold killer. But I don't really have too many counter arguments for that, except the one thing I will say though is you have to change a character. You can't just copy and paste, because then people are going to have the opposite reaction. Oh, well, you're just doing exactly like, no, you got to make your own adaptation. He never said he's copying G1. He always said that this is his take, his version. And if you don't like it, well, that's you. He done it the way he wanted to do it, and that's just what it is. You can like it, you can not like it. But it'd be different if he did say, hey, I'm trying to copy G1, but he's not. He even tries to name characters a different name just to make it different. The idea that I'm trying to get to is just people get the most mad about the, Michael Bay movies, about the fact that it's not like G1, but that is this movie's exact purpose, is to be something new and different. Like I said earlier, they put characters in like Bulkhead, but he called it Hound instead. He tried to, take a little bit of inspiration from it, but change it up. And it's okay if you don't like it, but your reasoning for not liking it can't be it's not like G1, because that's the whole purpose of these, is to be its own separate thing. It's not supposed to be, exactly G1. But it doesn't also mean that these movies don't have other problems besides that, like the fact that the human characters are more of a main character than the actual Autobots or Decepticons. You always see the humans for the first, hour and a half of the movie. Then, the last hour, it goes to a fight, and even then you see the military. We still get so much time for the humans in their story, but we don't want to see that. We don't care. We're not here for them. We're here for the actual Transformers, the name of the movie. And not to mention the whole fact that every Michael Bay movie, or every Michael Bay Transformers movie, is always done the same way. Human story, it starts to get a little bit messed up, and then the last hour, fight scene. They're always done the exact same way, and it's just copy and paste with a different villain. Is usually how every single one of these movies are. Which is, it kind of gets repetitive and old. And that's the reason why when Bumblebee came out, it was kind of refreshing, because it was different. I mean, it still had a similar way of being organized, but it was still different, and I personally liked Bumblebee and can't wait for the Rise of the Beast movie. And when it comes to designs, that is one thing that is kind of hit or miss. And for the most part, the only designs I don't really like is just the random foot soldiers for the Decepticons. It's just a big gray blob of metal. But there is one major character's design that I hate, and you probably know who I'm talking about. Now, I'm usually okay with Michael Bay, completely changing the design altogether, but what is this, bruh? Look, my eyes hurt. How dare you do this to my favorite Decepticon? How dare you? And also, he didn't do a good job at showing his character, really. He kinda did it with Revenge of the Fallen for a minute, but that's it. Look at this. Bro is a Dorito. Literally, he is a Dorito. How dare you do that to Starscream? Anybody else? Well, I would care, because, But for the most part, I don't have a problem with most of his designs. But for some reason, he does lack on the Decepticon side. I just don't think he puts in as much effort. But on the other hand, the Autobots are always extremely colorful and amazing looking. And I don't know how, but they always turn out amazing. There's not really any Autobot designs I don't like. At least off the top of my head. This right here is just eye candy. And I don't think there's any way not to like this. Well, I don't know. There's people out there that are really good at making some way to hate on something. But this is just... I could watch this all day long. I could honestly just sit here, and watch this all day long. Just watch Optimus Prime transform and all the Autobots. I mean, if you mess that up, if you mess up a transformation scene, then I don't know why you're making a movie to begin with if you can mess up a Autobots transforming scene, because this is just amazing. Just look at that. Now we're getting to the end of the video, so let's kind of get the theme and message. Alright, my look is 1 through 3 are decent movies, especially the first one. But my nostalgia kind of gets in the way of completely hating on these movies, because this is what I pretty much grew up watching. But you cannot watch one of these movies and say you're not entertained. Some of the storylines can be boring, but as soon as those robots start fighting, you cannot tell me you're not entertained. You just can't. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe if you've made it this far, or if you've even seen this video. And yeah.
There's more to them than meets the eye. I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to any surviving Autobots taking refuge among the stars. We are here. We are waiting.